A single drop falls in the dark. It is small, it is thick, it is slow. It lands with a sound you feel more than hear, a soft tap on a cold floor. The room is small, the air is heavy. A figure sits in a chair, shrouded in near blackness. Its skin seems to shine, a wet and polished obsidian. Another drip forms. It swells and holds. It lets go. This is the beginning of the thought. The one you do not want to have. The one that arrives anyway. It is the arrival of the shadow, the part of you that waits in the damp corners of the mind. The drip is a clock. It measures the passing of a terrible silence. Each drop is a word not spoken, a feeling pushed down, a memory locked away. The figure in the chair does not move. It only listens. It knows this sound, a wound that will not close. Shame pooling on the floor. The darkness in the room is not empty. It is full. It presses against your skin. It whispers things you thought you had forgotten. It reminds you of what you are capable of, the good and the not good. Mostly, it reminds you of the not good. The shadow is not a monster from a story. It is not an outside thing. It wears your face. It knows your name. It has been with you since the beginning. It was there when you told your first lie, when you felt the first sting of envy. It fed on your small cruelties. It grew stronger with your secret hatreds. Now it sits in the chair, waiting. It does not need to speak. Its presence is enough. The slow, steady drip is its language, a language of guilt, a language of fear. It is the sound of your own heart, beating in the dark. And so we begin, not with a shout, but with a hush. Not with a grand declaration, but with a quiet, persistent drip. This is the world of Fyodor Dostoevsky, a world where the most important battles are fought inside the human soul, where the line between saint and sinner is a crack in the floorboards, where the shadow is not something to be defeated, but something to be met, to be looked at, to be understood. The drip continues, the figure waits, and we, the readers, lean closer, drawn into the abyss by the simple, terrifying rhythm of a single drop of water. Look at this old photograph. The man's eyes are deep. They seem to hold a great weight. His face is lined. It is the face of someone who has seen too much. This is Fyodor, a young man, then an old one. Before the words, there was the life that carved these lines into his skin, that filled those eyes with a knowing sadness. He was not born a sage. He was made one. He was made by hardship. He was made by pain. He was made by the constant hum of his own fragile nerves, a body that often betrayed him with sudden, violent seizures. The ache was always there. Imagine the cold, the Siberian cold. He was sent there, to a prison camp, for reading books, for talking about ideas. For 10 years the world shrank. It became walls and shackles. He was surrounded by murderers and thieves, men who had crossed lines he had only imagined. He listened. He saw rage and unexpected kindness. He wrote to survive, against deadlines, to pay debts. His characters were born from this pressure, this anxiety, the prison yard, the blankness of an epileptic fit. The drip of fear was a constant companion. He lost children, a daughter, then a son. A grief with no bottom, a pain that hollows you out, a silence where there was once a small voice. He knew this silence. He wrote it into his books. Not a distant literary giant, a man, a husband, a father, a debtor, an epileptic, a former prisoner. A man who stared into the abyss, not because he was a philosopher, but because the abyss stared back at him every day of his life. Now we meet the shadow. We see its face. It looks like a student. His name is Raskolnikov. He is handsome. He is intelligent. He lives in a tiny, coffin-like room in St. Petersburg. The air is thick with heat and dust. He has an idea. A terrible, brilliant idea. Some people are extraordinary. They can step over obstacles, even another human being. He decides to test this theory. He will kill an old pawnbroker, a cruel, useless woman, he tells himself. Her death will be a service to the world. It will prove he is extraordinary. He does it. He brings the axe down. The act is clumsy. It is brutal. Not the clean philosophical gesture he imagined. It is blood. It is bone. It is terror. And then a second person appears. Lizaveta, an innocent, a witness. He has to kill her too. The theory shatters. There is only the mess, the sticky blood, the overwhelming animal fear. He escapes. No one saw him. He is free. But he is not free. The shadow, once a tool, now owns him. It follows him everywhere. It sits with him in his tiny room. The guilt is not a thought. It is a physical thing, a fever, a constant nausea. Every knock is the police, every conversation an accusation. He is cut off from humanity, alone in the echo of the axe. The shadow whispers. The skull. Lizaveta's eyes. He argues. He justifies. The shadow does not listen. It only shows the mirror. And there he sees the face of a murderer. This is Dostoevsky's genius. No monster, but a man, convinced of superiority, certain he can master darkness until he collapses. The mind disintegrates, logic fails, willpower fails. The shadow remains, a consequence, living truth inside him, demanding acknowledgement, demanding confession. It will not be silent. Let us go deeper, deeper into the darkness. We find ourselves in a different room, a shabby, squalid basement. The air is stale, it smells of resentment. A man lives here. We do not know his name. He is the underground man. He has cut himself off from the world. He writes a long, rambling confession, full of spite, self-loathing, and twisted pride. He is the shadow made articulate, the voice that wants to say no, that finds pleasure in its own misery. An officer brushed past him unnoticed. For years he obsesses over that tiny insult. He plots revenge, walk the same street and not step aside, bump him, assert existence. Months of planning, anxiety immense. He bumps him, and that is it. The officer barely notices again. The victory is hollow, pathetic. He knows it. A bundle of contradictions. He craves beauty, wallows in filth, longs for connection, pushes all away. He despises the world of action and reason, the world of 2 + 2 = 4. I say that 2 + 2 is 5 is sometimes a very charming thing too. He wants the freedom to be irrational, to be difficult, to suffer if he chooses. He sees a toothache as pleasure, a groaning, self-aware pleasure. He finds satisfaction in his own powerlessness. This is the shadow in its purest form. Not a grand, tragic evil, but a small, petty human darkness. Inertia, envy, secret schadenfreude. Dostoevsky shows the shadow is often small refusals. The refusal to be happy, to forgive, to step out of the damp, comfortable darkness of our own underground room. Suffering, in Dostoevsky's world, is not an event. It is the atmosphere. It is the air you breathe. It is a living thing. It has a weight. It has a texture. It is a dull ache behind the eyes, the slow drip of water in a prison cell, the gnawing hunger in a starving family's apartment, the shame that burns when you are humiliated, not to be solved or cured, to be endured, to be lived with. Think of the Marmeladov family. The father, a drunk. He has lost his job. He has lost his dignity. He drinks the last pennies and collapses, pathetic, broken. Katerina Ivanovna is dying of consumption. The children are hungry, pale, wide-eyed with fear. The ache is in every corner of their room. The daughter, Sonia, has become a prostitute, selling her body to feed her family. The ultimate degradation, the ultimate suffering. Yet he portrays her as a saint. Her suffering is a sacrifice. She carries the shame for everyone. When Raskolnikov confesses, he bows and kisses her foot. He is not bowing to a prostitute, he is bowing to human suffering itself. Her yellow ticket is a symbol of her martyrdom. Dostoevsky forces us to look. He does not let us turn away. Suffering is not always noble. It can be ugly, it can be pathetic, it can be self-inflicted. Yet it is also ground where other things can grow, the furnace that tests the soul, where true nature is revealed. Is there meaning? No easy answer. Only the reality of the ache, the drip, and the shadow that lengthens as the sun of our fortune sets. In the midst of all this darkness, a light appears. It is not a blinding flash. It is not a divine intervention. It is small. It is fragile. It is a whisper of grace. It is a small act of mercy, a moment of connection that breaks through isolation. After Marmeladov is run over, a crowd gathers. He is dying in the street. Raskolnikov, lost in feverish guilt, suddenly springs into action. He arranges for a doctor. He gives all his money, 25 rubles, to the widow. He does not know why. It is an impulse, an instinct. For a brief moment the shadow recedes. The weight lifts. He feels a surge of life. He says, "I too can live." The act of giving, of entering another's pain, momentarily heals his own. Fleeting, yes, but it happened. A seed was planted, a possibility was shown. Think of Alyosha Karamazov, the youngest, the opposite of the underground man. A figure of light, not naive, but tested by darkness. He listens. He does not judge. He offers no answers, no theories. He simply kisses him. A silent gesture that says, "I understand your pain. I am with you." Even in prison he found such moments. They do not erase suffering or solve evil. They make it bearable. Small spaces of warmth, a whisper of grace that refuses to be extinguished. Mercy has a cost. It has a weight. It is not an abstract virtue. It is a choice in a real moment with real consequences. Consider the story of the old woman and the onion, a tale told in the brothers Karamazov. A wicked woman dies and goes to hell. Her guardian angel searches for one good deed. He finds one. She once gave an onion to a beggar. God says, "Take the onion, hold it out, let her pull herself out on it." The angel does as told. She grabs the onion and begins to rise. Others reach up, clinging for salvation. "I'm being pulled out, not you. It's my onion, not yours." And the stalk breaks. She falls back into the fire. The angel weeps. The single act of mercy was not enough. Her heart was closed. Mercy is not a transaction, not a coin for reward. The onion was not a ticket. It was a test of sharing salvation, of seeing other sinners as part of your own humanity. She failed. Her shadow, her ego, outweighed the fragile stalk. True mercy is not grand gesture, but opening of the heart. Giving money was a start. The turn comes when he confesses, accepts pity, is vulnerable, and chooses punishment, accepts the weight of his crime. It's easier to cling to our own onion. But that is false salvation. The only way out of the fire is together. The mercy we show others is the only mercy that can save us. The weight of a single shared coin is the weight of the world. The shadow forces us to look in the mirror, but the mirror is often broken. It shows us a fragmented, distorted face. We see ourselves in pieces, a piece of kindness here, a piece of cruelty there, a noble thought, a shameful desire. Ivan Karamazov is master of the fragmented self, a brilliant intellectual who can argue for God and against him. He writes The Grand Inquisitor. He says if one child's suffering is the price of paradise, he returns the ticket. A humanist, a defender of the innocent, one shard of the mirror. But there is a darker piece, his half-brother Smerdyakov, the embodiment of Ivan's unspoken darkness. Ivan says, if there is no God, everything is permitted. Smerdyakov listens and takes it literally. He murders their father. He tells Ivan, you are the real murderer. I was your instrument. Ivan is horrified. He meets the ugliest shard and sees his own shadow, made flesh. His mind breaks holding both pieces, the noble philosopher and the author of a murder. He is visited by a shabby middle-class devil, a reflection of his cynicism. The broken mirror becomes a haunted house. This is Dostoevsky's warning. Ideas are not games. Words have consequences. Thoughts in secret rooms take on lives of their own. They become actions. The shadow feeds on intellectual pride, on the belief we can control darkness by explaining it. But the mirror is always there. When it breaks, we see all the pieces, the beautiful, the terrible, the light, the dark. We must learn to live with the whole, fragmented truth of who we are. Where does this leave us? In the dark? In the cold? Not entirely. Dostoevsky is not a prophet of despair. He is a prophet of the difficult hope, the hope that is earned, not found by avoiding darkness, but by going through it. At the end of Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov is in Siberia, in the prison Dostoevsky endured. He is still proud, still isolated. He repents not of his crime, but of his failure. The other prisoners despise him. They call him an atheist. Sonia has followed him. She visits. She does not preach. She does not judge. She simply sits with him, her presence a small, steady flame in the vast cold. One day by the river, he looks at the wide, empty steppe, and something breaks. He weeps. He falls at Sonia's feet. He understands his separation and the depth of her love. The novel ends here, not with full redemption, but the beginning of a new story, the story of gradual renewal. This is the light Dostoevsky offers, a single candle in a vast, dark room, a beginning, not a guarantee. Redemption is not sudden. It is a slow, difficult process, the work of a lifetime. It is learning to live with the shadow, not by destroying it, but by integrating it. Accept the broken pieces. Choose day by day the path of love and connection over pride and isolation. The Brothers Karamazov ends at a boy's funeral. Alyosha does not preach heaven. He tells them to remember this moment of love and sadness, to be good, be brave, never forget each other. Let us never forget him. May his memory be eternal. So, the essay ends. The book is closed, but the room is not empty. The shadow is still here. It has been sitting with you, listening. It is your shadow. It is my shadow. Our own private shames, our own secret envies, our small cruelties and compromises, the things done and left undone, the language of the underground man, the pull of Raskolnikov's pride, the ache of being. Dostoevsky offers no escape, no map to perpetual light. He offers something more difficult and more honest, an invitation. Turn and face it. Look into its eyes. Acknowledge its presence. Stop running. Stop pretending it is not there. Sit down in the dark room. Listen to the slow, steady drip. Feel the weight of it all, without flinching. There is no final answer, no neat summary, only the ongoing struggle, the choice made every day in 1,000 small ways. The open hand, the closed fist, the shared meal, the lonely pride, the kiss of compassion, the cold logic of the self. The journey into the abyss is not a destination, but a way of being, living with our messy, contradictory truth. A fragile possibility, a small light, a quiet mercy. The shadow does not disappear, but perhaps we can learn to walk with it, not as its slave, but as its companion. Perhaps there lies the beginning of a new story. The quiet starts now.